Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. In response to last week's kata Goju Shiho, I got a great response from Sensei Donnie Hayhurst in a private message, and it was a conversation about starting a kata. How do we begin a kata? If I'm being honest, if we're doing any kata, all the pinyans, we don't even have to bow. I just want to start a pinyan, I'll hit my yoi position, go right into the kata. I'll hit my yoi position, go right into the kata, right from there. Anything before that is technically not really a part of the kata at all. Now, there are kata that begin with other positions than the standard yoi. The yoi, for example, for pasai is here, with knees bent, hands down, which is the same yoi for Chinto, Kushanku before we step out and begin, Chinto before we step back, okay? We actually go here for Kushanku, so this would be the yoi. I don't have to do this. This is a separate movement, talk about that in a minute. So if I just want to begin Chinto, I would set myself right here, and here we go. If I just want to begin Kushanku, I would set myself here, actually here, and here we go. So this is the Kushanku beginning. This is the Goju Shiho, starts right here. Wansu starts right here. I don't need the other stuff. So here's what happens. When I'm doing a kata for a supervisor, instructor, audience, or whatever, judges, I will bow. Announce the name of the kata. That is not a part of the kata. That is respect for whomever I'm doing the kata in front of. And the announcing of the kata isn't even necessary. I can just, if I'm doing it alone, I can just do the bow and then into the yoi, pertinent to that, and on we go. What is this? Well, here in Seidokan, we have a couple of variations on that. In the old school, it was simply the hands, and you see the same salutation in Goju-ryu. The feet and the hands come in, and then down, sometimes more forward. That movement is known as a mudra, or a salutation. So we have the bow, then we have the hand presentation, or the salutation. Now, those come from older systems, such as the Kung Fu systems. 30 years ago, I was just looking at a form I did 30 years ago and have not done since. It's from Fujao Pai, which is the tiger claw system, and it basically begins this is all just the salutation, and now the kata begins. But that beginning part, and I left out some of it. There's a whole lot more that I didn't do. So I haven't done it for 30 years. But that whole introductory sequence has a symbolic significance, not a combative purpose. And the symbolic significance of it is particular to the style of Kung Fu. Going back to the Tang Dynasty, left hand over right fist, right hand over left fist, different salutation. The American Kempo developed their version of getting ready. In the Shaolin Kempo, most of our getting ready involved a fist rolling, elbows, fists rolling down and out. Then we get into some of the Chinese forms where there's hands come in, up and down, hand and foot harmony, known as shoden-kwat. But the actual kata itself begins here as we go into the movements. So we have the bow, the recognition toward whomever we're performing, the hand salute or mudra, which is the symbolic representation or the identity of the style or system that we study. Most Okinawan systems have some version of this two-hand open presentation. That is not the beginning of the kata. That is, hey, this is the style of martial art I represent. Even just the standard yoi. If I'm doing Kyokushin, for example, hands are way up here, big circle in. In China, If I bow this way, I'm identifying my style, saying, hey, I don't want to fight, but here's my weapon if I have to. In China, if I bow like this, that means, hey, I'm here to fight. So these mudra, or hand presentations, or salutations, identify style, system, intent. Hey, I don't have any weapons here. Oh, all right, I'm ready to fight. Hey, I don't have any weapons here, but I'm going to do this kata, or this kata, or this kata, naihanchi, pasai, kusanku, chinto. So those portions are the actual beginning of the kata, not the salutation, which is, hey, I don't have any weapons, and there's a meaning to them. There's another one I remember from back in the Shaolin Kempo, the Kung Fu related Kempo forms, where we would do this presentation, and then up and over, and then pressure breathing, like the old Sanjin, contracting in the abdomen, pressing, tightening the fist. Then we come out again, then we bring it up, plant the seed, watch the seed grow, bring the hands, bow to the monks, or the Buddha salute, and down. In some Shaolin, they do the Buddha salute as their bow before the hand mudra. So we have three separate issues. The kata itself begins from whatever your ready position is. The bow, if I'm performing for someone, with or without the announcement of the name of the kata. The salute, or the mudra, which identifies the source of my system, style, or intent behind what I'm about to do. Separating those things will help you understand a little bit better what you're doing. Now, in Seidokan, we have some who, Tamai Sensei changed this years ago, where we combine the bow. So this is the Okinawan hand salute, and they then combined it with the bow, and that comes from Tamai Sensei, and most have adopted that. And I used to do it that way, so I kind of pick and choose. Some things I go back to Toma's older way, some things I do the more contemporary way, some have changed these side kicks. So there are certain adaptations and variations that we accept within parameters. So again, just to review, respect to whomever if I have an audience. If I don't have an audience, unnecessary. Hand salute. Whatever system of martial art I'm studying is now announced. That tells you I came from an Okinawan style. You would not do this if you had come from a Japanese style. And in fact, most Japanese styles do the bow and then step to their ready position, as in Shotokan. That would be the typical way. Some do single step, which we did in Shotokan. In Kyokushin and some other Japanese styles, it's a double set of the movement and forward hands way out in front, because it is a combative system and they are announcing, I am here as a fighter, as opposed to, I don't want to fight, but I have a weapon in my holster if I have to. So we have respect, announce intent, system, style, source, and then the actual kata, which in the case of Goju Shiho is from the drunken, so I've got a cup or a bottle on my plate. Wansu, right? And the others that I mentioned before. So don't mistake the beginning, the salutations, the respect, the bow, the hand mudra. Mudra just means a representative. In associating it with Buddhism, it has religious significance, but it typically, in a non-religious context, just means hand movements that don't really mean anything other than symbolic representation, as I said with this one. And so forth. So, bow, presentation of your system, style, etc., and then the actual kata beginning from whatever the appropriate ready yoi position for that. Just to kind of clarify, in your personal practice, if you're going out in the backyard and you're going to do Pinyan Shodan, and you start. There you go. You're going out in your backyard, you're going to do Naihanchi, and you start. The other, anything before that or at the end of the finish of the kata, is superfluous and only necessary in the context in which you're performing. That's it for today. Hope that made some sort of sense. Bow, hand mudra salutation, kata presentation of the yoi or ready position for the particular kata you're performing. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, ask questions if you need clarification. I'm going to review that Fujao Pai form because I really used to like that, but it's been 30 years, no practice on it, so we'll see what happens. And until next week, as always, let's keep practicing.